Hi there, this is Shutterbug. I'm a photographer living here in Equestria. My client today is young Apple Bloom, a member of the apple family. I was invited out to the treehouse, which is located in a back corner of Sweet Apple Acres. After I got done with my photography job, taking pictures of the treehouse, I sat down with young Apple Bloom, and she opened up to me about a series of strange dreams she had. You see, she's a member of a thing called the Cutie Mark Crusaders, a group of herself and her two other friends that have dedicated themselves to helping others find their cutie marks. It seems something strange happened the other day when she received a letter from her cousin Babs, a fellow member of the Cutie Mark Crusaders who lives in Manhattan. Quite a wonderful city, if I do say so myself. I've been there to take photos before on numerous occasions. But getting back on topic, it seems that cousin Babs got her cutie mark early, and it upsetted the other members of the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Apple Bloom and her friends, Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo, who are also related to former clients of mine, got worried about the possibility that getting their cutie mark might mean having to take on responsibilities in a field of study for which they are not comfortable performing, that it might change their friendships and forbid them from being members of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, or that it might take on the form of something unrelated to their family businesses. As Apple Bloom went on to tell her story, she told me that night as she went to bed, even though her older sister Applejack tried to reassure her that getting her cutie mark wouldn't be a big deal, she still had nightmares. And these nightmares began off as a normal day and slowly progressed into weirder and weirder situations. The first of a long series of nightmares, according to her vague recollections, started off with her waking up and coming down for a yummy pancake breakfast, wherein her sister Applejack informed her that she had received her cutie mark, and this cutie mark destined her to be a pest control pony. She met the expert pest control pony, and he showed her the ropes, showing her how to deal with the various pests that plague crops and so forth, introducing her to the concept of twittermites, a particularly dangerous subspecies of parasprite that personally I'd never heard of before, but for now I'm just sort of rolling with the concept. Twittermites are deadly subspecies of parasprite that have the ability to electrocute their target with a powerful bolt of lightning that gets more powerful as they spread out. And it was young Apple Bloom's chore to learn how to round them up and catch them. However, despite the fact that she mastered this skill wonderfully, she was still teased by it by her continuous bullies from school. Diamond Tiara, the daughter of a wealthy sales pony, and Silver Spoon. These two ponies bullied Apple Bloom for receiving a cutie mark in a field that they had no respect for, and this made her want to get rid of her cutie mark and give up the job of being a pest pony. She found herself wandering at night and stumbled upon a shadowy voice hidden in the darkness that told her that she could get rid of her cutie mark and go back to living her normal life. When she did this, however, she went back to Ponyville and found it under attack by the Twittermites, and she found herself unable to master the skill of catching them because she no longer had the cutie mark for the job of pest control, and they no longer listened to her. Instead, they electrocuted her again and again and again and again and again until she couldn't be electrocuted any further and passed out. When she came to, she discovered her home had been destroyed by the Twittermites and she had failed at her job. This is when she woke up from her first nightmare. However, this wasn't the end of her dreams. She had woken up and was actually dreaming that she was awake, and she went about repeating her day. Only this time the cutie mark was in potion making, something that she had a great passion for this time. Only this time it was her friends who didn't like her getting her cutie mark, and they kicked her out of the club for it no longer being a blank flank. Not wanting to be her friends anymore, Scootaloo and Sweetabelle got into an argument with her and left. This made Apple Bloom want to get rid of her cutie mark, which she again ended up in the shadowy forest with the shadowy figure hiding in the shadows, and again her cutie mark was eliminated. She went back to her friends, only to find out that this time they had their cutie marks and didn't want to be friends with some pony without a cutie mark. With her fear realized, she woke up again, but once again was only dreaming that she was awake, and was in fact still asleep. This time, for the third time, she repeated the events of the day just as they had unfolded 2 times prior, and again had a cutie mark, this time in dolphin training, something completely unrelated to apples, and she lived the fear of what would happen if her family got into an argument because she no longer represented the family business, and what would happen if she was kicked out of the family for not having an apple-related cutie mark. This caused her to wake up again, only to find out that she was still dreaming. For one last time, she confronted the shadowy figure that takes away cutie marks. As I listened to young Apple Bloom's story, it occurred to me that this was similar to a story that I heard from Princess Twilight when I was over at the castle taking pictures of that the other day. You see, there's this pony by the name of Starlight Glimmer who has the power to take away cutie marks and is obsessed with eliminating cutie marks to cause equality. I thought it could very well possibly be this pony who has been causing all of Apple Bloom's misery in some kind of attempt to mess with her dreams and make her want to willingly give up her cutie mark and accept equalization. But then Apple Bloom revealed to me the rest of her dream. It turns out that Princess Luna came to her rescue and showed her the real truth, that what she's been fighting this whole time was her own shadow. It was Apple Bloom's own fears that had taken the form of the strange shadowy figure in the dark woods and was tormenting her this whole time. This was, after all, Apple Bloom's dream and Apple Bloom's fears. Luna went on to take Apple Bloom into the astral plane of the dream world, and she took her down a long hallway of many doors. She opened up 2 of these doors to show her the dreams that were being held by her friends. Sweetie Belle was afraid of bombing on stage while at a singing competition. And Stoodaloo had a dream related to failing her attempt to skateboard down a giant ramp. When Luna put an end to these dreams, she united the 3 foals inside their old clubhouse, still sleeping in the dream world, and she gave them the lesson that a cutie mark is a representation of who you are, and when you receive it, it will fit exactly who you're meant to be. Cutie marks will not be unfortunate disasters. They will always be something that you are proud to have, and other ponies will accept you for who you grow up to be. With this understanding, the 3 friends decided to wake up and send a care package to their cousin Babs to pass the message on to her as well. This whole thing left me wondering some things, so I took the story and I recapped it to local Ponyville psychiatrist Dr. Wolf. What I was wondering is, was what was shown in these dreams real? Are there really pest control ponies? Are there really Twitter mites? Do Vinyl Scratch and Octavia truly hang out together? And here's what the good doctor's insight into dreams were. And that is that when ponies dream, they can only dream about things that they have some knowledge of. They can only see faces of other ponies that they're already familiar with. But a lot of times in dreams, the mind can also make stuff up and imagine things that don't exist. So dreams are combinations of legitimate real memories that the mind is aware of subconsciously, but has forgotten due to the sheer number of memories drifting around in the head, as well as information that could have been completely imagined and fully made up, and just seems real at the time, but then on further examination turns out to be incorrect. That advice didn't help me much. It could be very possible that the pest control pony and the Twitter mites are a thing that Apple Bloom was previously familiar with. But until we hear about such things happening outside of the dream, we can't be completely certain. Luckily, Luna is constantly there, watching over us, to make sure that our dreams never get out of hoof. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that particular situation. It's time for me to hit the hay, as it were. So I'm glad you were able to listen to me tell my stories. And the photo of the day is Twitter mites.